Hava Shamas grandmothers, grandfathers, homigots. I'm Wasim Ki, Panasay Magazine, Maquad, Shiny Thunderbird, Eagle Man, the Bear Clan. I'd like to introduce Mona. Mona was is still a beautiful being, and I say was because I found her. She found me. She was sitting in an antique store in the window for 2 weeks. First week I seen her, it broke my heart to leave her. Then I have no Jonia. Enough cash to take her out of her. I guess the only thing I can say is her prison, because someone fell off their path for whatever reason, because we all are living with PTSD as Anishinaabe, being colonized. But a lot of times we always look for excuses. There's always a reason why we didn't do it. There's a reason why I didn't do it, because I was dealing with my own issues and burying them with alcohol or burying them with whatever you need to do, because that's the medicine of choice. Alcohol's a medicine, and some people have to drink at least 3-4 beers a day, and it's not their fault. Like some of us, like myself, I was born with an alcoholic mother, so maybe I was born drunk. I don't know. I have no idea. But I got all the signs of fatal alcohol syndrome. But that's part of what happened to the Anishinaabe people. And when we were colonized, so many things happened. Our way of living. We live with this earth, Mother Earth, the first matriarch society. Planet Earth, we respected her for thousands of years. You look at some of our items that are in, I could say the Pope. Like, what right does he have to put our stuff in glass cases? And what right do we have to give him a headdress when it was the church that said I was a homosexual, I was gay? There's no such thing as gay, homosexual. We were part of the circle. We were protectors of the people. As Ogukwe, male-bodied, changing ones that I honor each and every day. Because they're the ones that have to live the way they choose and the way they feel from within the soul and the spirit. As a male-bodied, you feel like a woman in a man's body. And I can imagine what that feels like, being persecuted every day. I had a healer say one time that two-spirited guy should just go home and get up the ass and he'll feel better. And his helpers all started laughing. I was there and it made me feel like, can imagine what it made me feel like. I was very hurt. I was going to quit. Like everything, we run. And the sad part, it was my own people. And that's why I don't work with my people, like, in a sense, with an indigenous organization anymore. I work outside. I work in a non-indigenous community organization, so I could be looking from the outside in at our people, and it's so much easier because we don't trigger each other when we speak. Well, at least I know I trigger a lot of people when I speak because part of my name, Wasi Nimki Benajay Megazanini Makwadodam, it's the Bear Clan, and the bear comes out with the Thunderbirds and the Eagles. The Thunderbirds are the ones that talk about the truth, justice, natural laws of creation. And one of the natural laws is the covenant with Creator, and Creator's love for us is forever, forever and ever and ever. Like sometimes when I speak, I heard this elder say, well, I lost my consciousness. And the room goes silent. You know, that's because you're not listening. And I wasn't listening back in the day. You know, when you live with spirit, spirit sees no color, no race, no gender. Just pure beauty and spirit medicine. To this day, when I see people, I see the human being in a spiritual form. But the human being doesn't see himself that way, as the beauty. How does one black guy from Allegheny, I think he was about 55. He used to always come in to the market where I worked. He said, wow, it really smells really nice here, because he smelled the medicine, the sage, the natural cleansing of the spirit. And this went on for about a few months. He comes in every week. He sat right beside where my office was so he could smell the sage. And the sage worked the way it's supposed to, where it sees no color, no race, no gender, just pure beauty of spirit medicine. And that's one of my teachings where I seen, and maybe I heard it somewhere, but the essence of that teaching stayed with me forever. And to know that we're never alone, never alone. I was home, back down home, Bindigan. And I was at my sister's place. I was going for a walk, and I seen an elder in the car. I went up to her, knocked on the window, and I said, oh, I'm so sorry you're alone. Oh, did she ever scold me? Roderick, I'm not alone. Yeah, she's not alone, that's right. The ancestors are with us all the time. When I'm feeling all this pain every day for the last, I don't know, forever. Since I've been hospitalized about 6-7 months ago now with Lyme disease, my life hasn't been the same. You know, when you express your feelings and there's one teardrop, that's a gateway for our ancestors to come in, to come visit, and to love us again. But they won't show themselves unless you're open to the spiritual essence of life. Part of the spiritual essence of life too is our way of living. It's a way of living. It's not, and I say it's not a religion. And I've done stuff for the Catholic Church and educated them and made them understand, just one priest. That's it in this congregation, I guess. I don't know how it's going now, but they were very, very pleased. We did a ancestral fire with the soul of Mother Earth, and there was non-Indigenous people there. The thing about that was, when the non-Indigenous people try to give you teachings, that's no. If you ask, maybe, because I asked this really wonderful, her name is Vivi. She's a Jewish woman, and she works with the soul of Mother Earth, and she's such a beautiful lady. It's people like that I trust. And don't judge a cover by the book, because if you're living a spiritual life, and the essence of spirit will let you know it's good. Because I go by my intuition, I go by energy. I could tell when the energy is off, and I could tell when the energy is just, dead silent. That just means zip up, don't say nothing. You don't agree with it, don't say nothing. Go to your good mind. Go to your good mind and say, grandfathers, grandparents, grandmothers, elders, put this in my good mind so I can deal with it later and I don't get upset. Because when they say our way of living for thousands of years is a religion, because that's totally wrong. Totally wrong. You gotta separate the church from our way of living. Sorry, it don't work both ways. There was somebody that said, "Oh, I live both ways." How could you live both ways when the church destroyed our people? Yeah, they're coming around now, but it's because society and what's happening around the world. I'll give you examples about the church and what we do. We smudge, we cleanse our body, mind, and spirit. What does the church do with their thing? They use the smoke to cleanse the bodies when they go to heaven. I don't believe in hell. I don't believe in hell. Hell is within you if you're not living a good life. Because for my own personal experience, I wasn't living a spiritual life. I was living the life of I don't know. I was living a life of sex, drugs, and rock and roll. And I didn't want to be Indigenous. I was, my friends, Portuguese. Not Portuguese, but Spanish, because Spanish people are Indigenous. They're beautiful people. La Bamba. Yeah. So I said I was Spanish, and I had 10 really good friends when I moved to Toronto. We had sex, drugs, and rock and roll. That's what we did, and that's what we did back then. But with the pandemic of HIV/AIDS, people say I'm different, I'm not normal. But with my family, with my sister, my brother, my dad, my mom, all passing before. Well, my mom and my sister and my brother all passed before I was 18. My little brother died when I was 7. My mom died when I was 18. My oldest sister died when I was 21. I can't remember, it's so long ago. I'm 62 today. My father passed away in 1996, November 22nd. The thing about November 22nd, so unique to me, is that my baby, Alton, when he passed away, I'm a very emotional person. The ancestors must be with me all the time. Sometimes I lose consciousness and I go into a deep sleep. And I'm in that spiritual realm. It's so beautiful and peaceful. And when I wake up, it's like, oh, I want to go back. I want to go back. But they come and visit me. They come. Because part of my life, what I understand is that spirit sees no gender, no race, no color, but also it doesn't like to make you feel not good, not unhappy, because the spirit is happy, and they love it to see you happy. They don't like to see you sad. When my father passed away in November 22nd, I'm not sure how I was able to look after him, with the help of my family, of course, but I stayed with him. Finally one night I finally had to go get some rest, and my little nephew, Richard, stayed with me, and he come running in the room. Grandpa fell. I got up real fast. The moment I laid down and fall asleep, he tried to get up himself. He said, "Don't wake him up." And he fell. And that was the beginning of and where he ended up in the hospital in Marathon, and then he got transferred to Thunder Bay. In Thunder Bay, the doctor touched his hand and he screamed out like a big old bear in pain. And it's kind of like me. I can't hide my pain anymore. 2 nights ago, I started morphine every 12 hours, the lowest dose. And to remember that when you're on these medications, they're only on for a short time, not forever. They might make you feel good moment, but when you start, or when I start feeling drowsy, I know it's time to wean off, because my pain is less. Don't take more, take less. Be the spiritual being you're supposed to be, But sometimes we need help. Because in my belief, the Western medicine and the ancestral medicine work hand in hand, side by side, equal. And you can't do a damn thing about it. Excuse my English or my French or my Ashkebago and Shishayan. That means, where are you going? Ashkebago, you want to drive me up the wall? And Shishayan. So I say, Nosnam Ishko Abraham Pegash Shatan Dishikaz Abraham. Wasinim Ki Badashe Magazine, Wasinim Ki Badashe Magazine. Hey, one day. Oh, hey, one day. Hey, one day. Hey, that song came to me, it was given to me by Maggie Paul, an elder from the East Coast. She made this tape. There was like about 16 songs on it. And she said, here, have this tape. You're going to learn one of these songs. And for me, like, because I'm a contrary, I'm a Wendigo, I'm an Ogokwe, male-bodied. I do stuff backwards. And I said, you want me to learn all these songs? And she started laughing. She said, no, you're going to learn one song. I said, I know that. But she said, 16 songs to heal? And she explained it to me. She said, no, one song is going to gravitate to your spirit, she said, and that's going to be your healing song. And she said, don't let anybody tell you that it's not your song, because it's your song for your healing, personal healing. And she said, people have told me that too. That's not your song. Well, the Creator said it is your song. It's everybody's song, of course, but it's my song personally because it allows me to restart my day anytime I want. It also calls in the spirit of love for me. When I call in the spirit of love, it's for the people. Like the heartbeat of Mother Earth. The heartbeat keeps going. And if you're living a spiritual essence of life, you will know that the true covenant within us, when we came into this world as a spiritual being, to go into human form, to live a human life, that this and this was going to happen. But when we came into this world, we got amnesia. Spirit didn't tell us that. Or when we agreed to that covenant, you should have. But, some things you can't say. Because if you know what's going to be the outcome, you're going to try and change it. So we got amnesia because Creator didn't want us to know when my mom was going to die, when my dad was going to die. And my sister, my second mom, Gay used to call her, Karen. Karen was a beautiful person, and my niece Karen was beautiful. They're both in the happy hunting grounds. So when I hear people say, "Oh, you're such a Karen," say, "Well, you know what? If I know her sister, I'll say, well, your sister is so like she's such a you know." Just say if it's don't want to say anybody's name because they'll. Okay, well, I'll just say my sister Karen. What are you saying about my sister Karen? I know you're not talking about her, but sorry, I see my sister Karen when you say Karen. When I heard Karen before, I would break out, break, break, break down. That's my sister Karen. My dad, and my mom, and my younger brother. My younger brother died when he was 5. I was 7. They say it was a good thing that we only had to go to day school. But guess what? That abuse followed me home. They would have their pleasure and I get a punch in the face after they got off. You know, but that's sickness from colonization and the church. Look what the church did to our kids. Every child matters. A lot of children didn't come home. They found massive graves. 1,500 people, kids in a grave. Could you imagine that? And imagine the colonizer So, like I was saying about the colonizer, this is, before I say that, this eagle wing. An eagle, whole eagle wing. I received to carry for the people our tools that we received during our journey, our tools for the people. They're not mine. Oh, that's mine, that's mine, that's mine, that's humanness. You know, and the colonizer put that in us. You know, Christopher Columbus, when he discovered India, he thought he was discovered Indians. So they call them Indians. I believe that's the way. It could be backwards, but eventually I'll figure it out. You know, but part of that it's painful, and the only way I could able to speak my truths and speak about what I'm doing to heal. You know, it triggers a lot of people because they see their own truths, and that's part of the Thunderbirds. The Thunderbird is about truth and justice, and if you're part of the Thunderbird, you better be talking truth and justice, because you have no right to have that name if you don't. And part of my journey too, I gotta live with it, and I will deal with it. Maybe that's why I got this disease again. How many lives could a person have? You know, there's that saying about cats, 9 lives. Well, I'm sorry, I'm on my 22nd life. When I got Lyme disease, over 7 months ago now, I almost died. And I had a dream about my little brother, Kendrick John. He was coming to get me. And I said, bro, I'm not ready yet. I love life. I love who I am. I'm not done. He said, okay, bro. He said, I'll be here waiting. And I woke up. Brother, I love him so much. I even have these cars that I'm saving. This is the car set. These are all full of little cars. Back when my younger brother died, I didn't know nothing about that. He came home in a white box. So he said it was a good thing we came home from day school. We didn't have to go to residential school. My little brother didn't. He came home in a little white box. He was sleeping in that little box for a day when they brought him home. I thought he looked so beautiful, but I didn't know he was dead. I thought he was just sleeping. Second day, as a little boy, I started shaking him. I said, brother, get up now. You've been sleeping too long. Get up now. My mom and them grabbed me. I got held for that shit, like I normally do. Didn't explain it to me, and yeah. But anyway, the effects of that was that I'd always go down to his grave and play cards with him. But that's poor people, poor community. People, younger kids took them cars. Oh well. Anyway, I do my forgiveness work, Probably the same people that never mind, Roderick, don't say it. Yeah, I was sexually abused all my life. I had an elder come to me one day when we were doing community cleanup. She came with one other elder, and she was crying. She was in tears. I said, what's wrong? I said, why are you crying, my beautiful elder? My beautiful Bertha. And she said, I'm so sorry, but when you were a little baby, we were playing and I had you shit on my face. And she was with another elder, Mary, and I could tell she didn't like that. She took off. But before they left, I told Bertha, I said, you know what, don't worry about it, I'm okay. You be okay, I love you. And I'm thinking, well, what the heck am I doing on her face, But that's the way it was. Like, what happened to her in residential school? Them damn nuns. She was such a beautiful, loving lady. She loved me too. Growing up, Auntie Mary did too. But living with a broken family. My mom was an alcoholic. She drew pills. She was beautiful, but when you don't deal with your effects of colonization or your life, it will linger. And you think you heal from it, but if you don't talk about it, no. It'll come up when you don't expect it. And when you hear people's words, you probably are triggered by my words now. You're probably angry. Go to your good mind and deal with it. Because you know what? I could live with my truths. You know, I did stuff in my life that I'm not proud of. But I've done my work. And sometimes you just need to talk to Creator and let Creator know, and Creator will talk to you. You know, some of my helpers, when I've been dealing with that, Gitchi Manito came forward. The stone people came forward. The giants, the thunderbirds, the eagles. One fast I went to, I was so afraid that, oh my God, I gotta be outside in the bush all by myself for a whole day. Some people stay for 4 days. I only had to stay for a day because of my HIV. Today I'm living with it for 40 years. But you know what? It's not a competition. It's a way of living now. It's been over half my life. And when I tell people 40 years, they're looking, oh my God, I'm only 22. Well, I got it when I was 22. You know, and it's not a gift. You know, people say, oh, you got the gift. Yeah, what gift? So you could go on ODSP or welfare or be poor me, poor me, poor me. That's the thing I don't like. Poor me, because that's how I grew up. When I was growing up, because of all the abuse and everything else, I ended up in Marathon Hospital about, I don't even know, I lost count. They should have sent me away. Because I took many pills and I tried to commit suicide because I was getting raped. I got to the point where I just said, take me, don't hurt me. You know, but my gifts also started coming forward. You know, when I'm threatened, all I have to say is my name, and my helpers come. And you don't want to deal with the Sabe. The Sabe came to me too. He was walking down when I was fasting. He was walking down on the creek. I was on a hill. It was like just like on CBC where you seen that Sabe walking in the pond. Then all of a sudden he seen me or smelt me or something. But he looked and he came at me real fast. He turned into a light. Oh my God, it was like so amazingly beautiful. I looked, I didn't turn away, I was so happy, and I went right past me, right into the east. But I felt that peace of love, the spiritual essence of who we are as Anishinaabe. People of the land, we lived for thousands of years. We respected the land. The land respected us by providing us medicines. And then medicines belong to all walks of life, all ages, as every child matters. Indigenous culture matters. Indigenous people around Mother Earth matter. As they were colonized too. The Spanish colonized people, but they were colonized too. You know, and so much more beautiful people. Yeah. I just gotta take a little break. It'll come back again, okay? Miigwech, all my relations. Ashtigi Wen Manitou, until we meet again. From my beautiful elder, Joe. Red Fox Man. Ashtigi Wen Manitou. Ashtigi Wen Manitou. Oh, wow. Oh, my ego was trying to take flight. Hi. Yahweh, Yahweh, ho. Yahweh, Yahweh, ho. Yahweh, Yahweh, ho. Yahweh, Yahweh, ho. Oh, ho, get your beep, Pawabana Mona Hey Mato Gichima I'm an Ishinabe Yahweh Yahweh Ho Yahweh Yahweh Ho Yahweh Yahweh Ho Yahweh Yahweh Ho Oh ho get your peep palmer down Pawabana Mona Hey Mona Togachima Amanishinabe Hi-hi-hi-hand Hi-hi-hi-ho E-hi-hi-hi-ho. Oh ho, get your peep palmer down. Wabana mona hey. Mona to get chima. I'm an Ishinabe. I'm an Ishinabe. Yahweh, Yahweh, ho. Yahweh, Yahweh, ho. Yahweh, Yahweh, ho. Yahweh, Yahweh, ho. Oh, ho, get your peep palmer down. Pawabana Mona Hey. Mona Togachima. I'm an Ishinabe. So, I'm gonna continue this tomorrow. Yeah, my next feed. Go look at YouTube under Rod Michano, Michano, and also Roderick, Roderick, Michano, Michano, Roderick Michano or Rod Michano. And yeah, so check me out on YouTube, and that's where my video will be. Okay, miigwech, and all my relations. Everything I do belongs to Creator. As Creator's unconditional love is the beauty within you. And for me, that beauty in the essence of who I am. And I learned this when I lost a dear friend of mine. She was in Oshay Chautauqua. She's a Lebanese lesbian. Yeah, that's right. Lebanese lesbian. She was very, very masculine, very butch. But she was such a lady, you know, in many ways. But she was also aggressive. My partner of 23 years now. Hey, congratulations, Alexander, for being with me that long. Imagine that, Chip Plums. I love you, Linda. I love you, Teresa. I love you, Fred. I love your family. Yeah, Alexander is a beautiful man. His spirit name is White Eagle. And the eagles I talk about is the eagles that come from the Creator, that bring our prayers to the Creator. It also brings the love to the people. And the Thunderbirds bring the truth and justice to the people as we go forward in life. The Anishinaabe Police Force is Thunderbirds, and they're doing an awesome job. As my little cousin, when I was found out I had HIV/AIDS, and she gave me this little white feather. Well, it's kind of changed color since then. This is like, oh God. I'm 40 years in now. 40 years in time. Yeah, I received that little baby feather when she was a little girl. With her mom, Geraldine, my beautiful cousin. Ho-ho, miigwech. I have it hanging on my staff that I made where, it tells a story of HIV/AIDS and my journey when it was very hard. Because I ended up in hospice in 1997, January 97 to June of 97, thinking this is going to be my last time. Even my brother Fred came to visit me, But he didn't want to be there, I could tell. The energy wasn't good. And his wife went for a massage. I think they did that on purpose so we could talk. But they should not did that. Anyway, you learn and you live, And don't bother people that are visiting you, especially if you're in palliative care and separate their family. Because that's why Fred left so quickly. He said, tell my wife I'll be in the car. And like my dad, he just flings a $20 bill. Here. I would love to hear, I love you, bro. I love you, bro. And I'm sorry for everything. Sorry for my family, and that's why I talk about our first family. Our first family of country music. No. First family of Turtle Island. Villages right across Turtle Island that were healthy, happy, lived by the Thunderbird laws, the natural laws of creation of Mother Earth. And Mother Earth was our first matriarch. And we had a matriarch society, which was burnt to the ground, piled up like the slaughtered buffalo. Imagine yourself being in a teepee with the grandmothers and the elders and the children waiting for your turn as you see your warriors being rounded up. You gotta remember, back in the day, our heads were worth $5, $5, $5, $5. So $5 back in the day was a lot of Jonia. Jonia, that's the word of the day. Money. Money makes the world go round, and you know what? The sad part about it, what the colonizers did to us, our own people are doing it to our own people. They say they're spiritual, traditional people. You know what? Maybe they are in their own thinking, but everything comes about. Everything comes about. And right now, because of humanity and what we did to Mother Earth, we're seeing all the changes and all the earthquakes, and all the destruction of Mother Earth. That's a good thing. It's renewal time, people. Renewal time. Anyway, Mother Creator wanted for us. Creator wanted us to love. If you're spirit, spirit is about love. Loving one another, respecting one another. You know, when I was in the hospital, almost dying, I got like an email, like on Harry Potter, where it's a mad email. My heart just sunk. And when I was asking about supplies, it was just so much to deal with. So I just thought, you know what, I'm just gonna test, see if Indy gone. My home community can help me. Oh boy, did I get a couple of emails saying, well, we had to pay for this for my mom and this and that, and you know what, I wasn't asking for that. I was just seeing if somebody would help me, but yeah, so you know what, I just deleted the post, and I went to my forgiveness teachings. It was my adopted sister's niece, daughter, and niece, my niece, who I still love today. I love you, Carla. You know, but you're acting so much like your mother-in-law now. And why I say that is because she came in one time, election, and oh my God, I was so impressed, and yeah, she came in from a ceremony. It was so beautiful, beautiful beyond words. And I was so happy because growing up, there was competition between my brother and her. Who was the best? Who had to be the best? My brother was very, very educated, very smart, but she got the valedictorian. It made her more snobbish, and that I don't mean that in a bad way. I just mean that's the way we have to learn to fit in the world. I walk into a place and I could feel if it's not good, not good. It's your intuition, people. It's that gut feeling inside of you. When that intuition tells you to get the hell out of there or go on the other side of the road. Like I've been walking down Yonge Street and it's like I get a really strong feeling to go on the other side of the road. So I do, and I see why. There would have been a big conflict. Because there are people that hate me, but all the power to them. In my prayers, I say, bind us together, Lord. Bind us together with love for the Creator, with love for each other, with love for you and I. Bind us together, Lord, bind us together. How silly does that sound with the drum? There's my my boy Simon. So, yeah, even my animals love ceremony. My beautiful Vinny, he meows and he goes, wow! He meows real loud if I don't smudge, you know. They're essence of spirit too, so they could be around. You know, some people say, oh, you can't have dog shit. You know, everybody has their own rules, and when you go into somebody's ceremony, who's ever conducting it, that's the rules you follow. I'm not Madain, or I'm not Haudenosaunee or anybody, but I mean, I walk and I talk as a vessel of goodness, the vessel of Creator's goodness. And I know because I see all the signs. People say you can't understand if you don't know your Anishinaabe tongue. Sorry, Creator knows all languages. I've been doing this for 22 years. And yes, there's truth to that. But I mean, you learn your language along the way, and you'll be okay. You know, when I'm feeling threatened, I say, Wasi Nimki Benashe Magazinini Makwadodam, Wasi Nimki Benashe Magazinini Makwadodam. I'm not going to say it 4 times because you might see stuff in the video. You may see it now. It's for you to see, and you'll only see it, and everybody else may not. You know, and that's for you, and for you alone. Sometimes, oh my God, I gotta grab my picture. I gotta get a picture. Uh-oh, the eagle's gone. You missed it. That was for you to see, not for anybody else. That's all. You know, forgiveness plays a big role in everything we do. You know, sometimes it's very hard to forgive, and we live in that moment. But you know, when they talk about hell, that's what hell is. When you live in you fester in that negativity. You know, when I was growing up, I was so into that negative force field, or that whirlwind of negative emotions, and I couldn't get out. I didn't know how, you know, but I did. And, you know, every time I feel the essence of spirit, I feel good. I keep building on that. Building. The last time, you know, I truly, you know, I was amazed at with KCL's hospital, one of the first hospitals here in Toronto, in Canada, the world, for HIV/AIDS, specializes with HIV/AIDS. Now with everything else, they're open as a hospital to deal with. They don't have an emergency, but they deal with every walks of life. As we deal with, they deal with the forgotten ones. You know, during ceremony, I have this big picture window with cedars alongside of it. And during that pandemic, people set up camp to find out they were homeless. They were the forgotten ones of society. And that was my biggest fear too when I first came to Toronto. Seeing Indigenous men, some women on the street, like my mother, all Chinoxigay, beer in her hand, smoking a cigarette. You know, but they were happy. They were happy, you know, because they numbed the pain. They numbed the pain. What happens after you numb the pain? and it comes back, it's twice as bad, people. Well, in my experience, it was. But I had two beautiful angels that rescued me all the time. My two beautiful cousins. I believe her name was Sunshine and Eagle Woman, and her sister. That's what I was called. Are you up yet? Are you up yet? I had so many rascals in my closet that's when I drank, they come out and play. You know, now it's beauty. It's beauty beyond, you know. Like even being on morphine, I'm still in pain. I can still feel that pain, that throbbing pain. But it's tolerable, okay. I'm no Mother Teresa, but I shouldn't have to live with pain. You know. Like taking morphine is not the end of life, people, like it used to be. It's a crutch. It's a temporary thing to help you deal with what you're going through. For me, that's my experience. For you, it may be different. Yeah, when people found out I was on Percocet when I was in the hospital, my doctor came into the room and he asked, what's wrong? Because they were giving me the Percocets every 6 hours. And for 2 hours, I'd be crying. I was like in throbbing pain, like that pain was going right through my body. Imagine having to heal your wounds. And I had one right on my rear and on my finger. And they were deep. I thought I was going to lose my finger. My ass I didn't care about. But my finger, you know, it was like, yeah. So the wounds had to be healed from the inside out. I never heard about that before, but that's the way it had to be. And for a long time, like every time they stuffed that wound, oh my God, they were ripping stuff because they had to. If you let it heal from the outside, it'd probably get infected again. It would get infected again from if you let it just heal over, you know. Yeah. When I first went in, I thought it was the cream I was putting on, but it was all white. That was like poison. And if I would have waited another day, I would have died. That would have been a good thing. And why I say that is because dealing with HIV forever, dealing with death, going to the funeral home so many times back in the early days where a friend of mine died left, right, and center, and people I knew. And the usher at the funeral home when I went with my friend George, beautiful man. So we were walking in, he says, oh, good evening, Rod. It's my condolences, Rod. And George said, how does he know your name? I said, he doesn't know your name? No. I said, well, like I said, I was here last night, and you're here today again? Yeah, well, funerals happen like a lot. You know, and when I talk about the church, I don't mean no disrespect. I just mean that, you know, we need to figure out who we are. So many people that try and build their community lodges get torn down by other community members that are following the church. You know, the best thing about the church was that they said in the man-made Bible was that death is as good as the day you were born. Well, it is. That's the truth. That's the only truth I found. You know, I don't know. You know, I'm not saying all of it's not good, but you know, I don't follow that anymore. Back in the day, my dad and my mom used to force us to go to church, you know, and one day I asked my dad, well, why didn't you go to church? He said, I was forced to too. When I was in, you know, I went to church after I got back from the war. Before that, it was like, yeah, they learned to listen to the message of the Spirit when they were forced to go to church. So yeah, that was the way it was. I know this is a very long message, but you know what? If you're at this point, congratulations. And yeah, the beauty within each and every one of us, you know. I have a yellow bus in there too, Don. Big yellow bus for my brother. Yeah, right there, right there. And I didn't mean for you to go make marshmallows inside the bus. I told you there's marshmallows there, but yeah. Back in the day, my dad and my mom, when they were together, they used to help people a lot. And after my mom left, you know, my dad continued because that's the way my dad was. You know, all the notes that were sent to my dad, we'd be a rich family. You know, my children need milk, cereal. You know, we got no food. Well, of course my dad would help them. He was a hereditary chief for 10 years. Only worked for honorariums. That's the way it was back in the day. Now the chief gets over $100,000. Yay! Tax free. Tax free, the gars. Jonias all the way home. Same with my dad's predecessor. No, the person who took over him after. There's a rivalry, and yeah, but I stayed friends with my best friend. You know, at the time she probably didn't like me, but you know what? You know, I grew up in a broken home, and I used to be with my best friend all the time until all this started, and that's what happened. The Shadow's been in power way too long. It's about time to give it to Desmolin or somebody else in the family. Yeah, but there should not be another Machado. And I pray for that every day because, you know, I don't like being a Machado. I'm a Machado, and Machado always has to have the last word. Dega. Yep. Machado always has to have the last word. I think I don't know what they think, but anyway. I'm grateful to be McJacobins. McJacobins was our name. And Roderick was a prominent name back in the day. Toussaint was a prominent name back in the day. And these are hereditary chiefs. back in the day before colonization. You know, maybe some of my history is backwards, but you know what? That's mine. That's mine to own, not yours. So get over it. Go to your good mind. And you know what? When I give teachings, I tell people if you don't agree with it, I totally understand. But I ask you, go pray about what you don't believe or disbelieve. And if you get an answer, come and tell me, please, so we could both be happy. And yeah, that's it. You know, forgiveness. Well, you take care. It's such a good morning. I'm going to enjoy my day. I gotta do my planting again, get them out. It's gonna be a sunny day, I hope. Kind of clouded over. It was a red sky. I'm gonna pray it does. So I'm gonna end this with a song that I love all the songs. Miigwech, miigwech, miigwech. Nicole put this online. What you do ya, do ya, do ya? What you do ya, hey? What you do ya, do ya, do ya? What you do ya, hey? Oh, not your way, hey, hey, oh, not your way, hey, hey. What you do ya, do ya, do ya? What you do ya, hey? Oh, not your way, hey, hey, oh, not your way, hey, hey. What you do ya, do ya, do ya? What you do ya, do ya, hey? What you do ya, do ya, do ya? What you do ya, do ya, hey? Woo! Sorry, I'm getting a cold. And when you have an immune system of 200, you're still classified as full-blown AIDS. But I'm undetectable. I don't have a virus load. But that's pretty dangerous. That, you know, cold could become pneumonia real quick. Pneumonia can become very deadly at some point. So a lot of times, all I do is prevention. You know, they ask me, how come you don't have diabetes? So back home, we have a diabetes trail and there's lots of medicines. Lots and lots and lots. Yeah. I know when I received the gift of Lyme disease. Okay, I'm gonna call it a gift because I did my forgiveness. Okay, and part of that was when I went to cottage. I never get a chance to go to cottage. I'm not wealthy, or I don't have a lot of friends that have them. But I have my best friend, and she has a cottage. She even bought a little trailer for us. Her name is Serena. She's my angel. And yeah, so she invited me up to her lake. She has a lakefront property, and yeah, in a cottage that her friend lives in. Beautiful lady, Tammy. Oh my God, she's so amazing. And all her friends are amazing. I went there for Pride. I'm looking forward to going again one last time. Changing the world, people. New, different realms, different way of looking at life. As death is as good as the day we were born. No more pain, no more suffering, no more waking up crying and howling. That's scary. And the thing about death, and that's the thing the church don't tell you. And I'm telling you, when you connect to the soul and spirit, your creativity will light up and you will rise and do something amazing with that grief. But why I ask you, why do people don't live with the soul and the spirit all their life? Because of the Western concept of life? That's an excuse. People don't live with their spirit and soul. I apologize. I mean myself. Sorry. My apologies. But why I didn't live with the spirit and soul? Because I wasn't telling the truth. I wasn't being honest with who I am as a spiritual being in a human form. The essence of spirit tells no lies. Or, yeah, you live by the Thunderbird teachings, the natural laws of society, where you respect, honor, and obey the matriarchs of society. They're the rulers, in a sense, we're the grandmothers and the grandparents. And the grandparents love us unconditionally. When they see their grandchildren, they don't see, oh my God, he's ugly. No, they see that he's beautiful, and yeah, that's beauty within. As I see, no race, no color, no gender. As it's easier just to see the beauty of the spirit mountain before you see the humanness, the ugliness of the humanness. As I said before, the haters out there, I pray for you. But also bind everybody together with love, But you don't have to accept it. It's not written in stone. And what I mean by that is when I bind people with love, I mean the haters that hate me. That's it. And people dislike me because their truths come out when I speak. A lady in our meeting went storming out in her wheelchair, went crashing right through the hospital doors. Who does that when there's non-Indigenous people in that meeting and think, oh my God, the Indigenous people are fucking, they're crazy. But when people say that, yeah, people are crazy, but I'm crazier, and they leave me alone. That's just a defensive mechanism. But all I have to say is my name, and I'm safe, There's a big white wolf that walks with me. I could call in the Thunderbirds, I could call in the Giants, I could call in Gitche Sabe, the Eagles. Bring the purse to the Creator, bring the love to the people, and all I'm doing is trying to live for one more day. That's it. Miigwech. My elder Joe has to Ashtigiwen Manito. Ashtigiwen. Hey, great one. 미관 connotation. All the people greater loves you now and forever. We tie ocean looking, hugging her way to hay, hugging her way to hay, hugging her way to hay. Miigwet, connotation. Miigwet, connotation. Miigwet, connotation. All my relations, Ashtiki Windman until we meet again. Ho ho, ho ho.